The total design capacity of 3 treatment works is 44.5 megaliters per day, and currently they are producing 34. The average performance of the works is rated at 78%. The above scheme are augmented by the Nandoni water treatment works with 16 megaliters per day. Moving to villages that are still experiencing challenges in accessing clean water in College Havani local municipality. We have listed some of the villages that are still experiencing difficulties in receiving water. That is Mtititi, Merve, Mashauchi, Gonami, Makasa, Ngomugomu, Alte, and some few villages that are still struggling in getting water. Under Makado local municipality, this local municipality is, of course, located in the western side of the district municipality. I'm not going to talk much about its geographical position, but however, I must indicate that it is Makado and Musina that are affected by the special economic zone. The local municipality is divided into 3 segments. That is northern part, which includes villages such as Sumoki, Garere, Msekwa, Komere, Dori, Chikuwi, and other villages around. The middle and west part includes villages such as Makado Town, Chakuma, Sintumure, Kutama, etc. The southern part includes such as villages such as Elim, Mairaskop, Mtabarara, Muila, Muri, Machitare, Olifansuk, and other areas in Makado. Moving to bulk water supply sources in the Makado local municipality, you can see we have the scheme name. The scheme name there is Albasin Waterworks. Design capacity is 10.4 megaliters per day. We have Musekwa and well. Design capacity is reflected there. Shipiri Muguma Waterworks, 2.1 megaliters. Lerere Karawawe, that's the design capacity. Chakuma Waterworks, that's the design capacity. Cheza Muchezi Waterworks. The total of the design capacity is 39.1 megaliters per day. Moving further, Albasin Water Treatment Works supplies water to Makado Town and Chikwata Township. The scheme is no longer sufficiently supplying the 2 areas as there is an increase in demand. Sintumure Kutama Prison needs almost 100 liters per second per day, while the plant produces 120 liters per second per day. Several boreholes were drilled to supplement both the prison, the town, and Chikota. All of these do not even meet the generic standard of supplying water to the town. Blue Gum Sport was identified as an alternative source to augment the supply. The plan was left out due to disagreements between the Department of Water and Sanitation and farm owners. Nandoni bulk will be supplying the area in the future. The project is under construction and it is approximately 65.5% complete. Moving further, Sintumure Kutama Regional Scheme was constructed in 1994. The source of the water is boreholes. The boreholes are equipped with pumps that pumps water to the main command reservoir and steel tanks that gravitates water to the local communities. Communities were made to get water from the streets using prepaid system. However, the communities vandalized and started to do illegal connections. The scheme is unable to supply water due to insufficient water underground. The long-term supply plan is to get Nandoni to supply the area. As of now, the contractor is busy making sure that the work is done and is completed. Chitare Regional Water Scheme supplies water to the following villages, amongst others, that is Murima, Rambani, Chitare, Fananani, Muira, Olifansuk, and Tabarara. The source of water is the boreholes and the sand well. It is unfortunate that the sand well had dried up. It was the main source that supplied the Murima area and in Tabarara. One project was constructed with the intention that it will get its source from the sand well. However, it is dysfunctional because of the sand well, which is dry. Additional boreholes with at least a yield of about 10 liters per second has been found and will be connected to the system for its functionality. The municipality is still to refurbish the system where other components are dysfunctional due to the system not receiving water. Muti's regional scheme supplies water to the various villages under Njerere South. The following villages are being supplied, amongst others: Zanani, Bia, Barabari, etc. The scheme is currently being upgraded from 12.5 megaliters per day to 20 megaliters per day. The bulk and internal reticulations are also under upgrading to deal with illegal connections. Biaba and other communities are mostly affected by the illegal connections as water is no longer reaching the area. Communities are connecting themselves from the bulk line that serves the upper areas. Each household does connect direct from the main pipeline. Chakuma Regional Water Scheme supplies water to the stated villages. The area is also augmented by boreholes for water supply. Most of the villages are yet connected in Chakuma. Since the area is mountainous, it is blessed with natural springs that flows out through the season. Communities in this area have also come together and developed their own scheme in an effort adding more capacity to the existing scheme. The municipality has assisted in the process and is still monitoring the water quality of the area. Njerere North Regional Water Scheme is located in the northern part of the municipality. It serves Mudimeri and other areas like Gombani, Smoky, and so on. Njerere Dam is available, but it does not supply water to the villages around. This Njerere dam is only supplying water to the farms next to Chipisa Ventura, but unfortunately the villagers are not receiving water from this dam. We are in discussion with the Department of Water Affairs so that we do something so that the villages like Mushurumbi, Makushu do receive water from the Njerere Dam. There is no water allocation for human consumption from the dam. I'm just emphasizing the district municipality is busy engaging the Department of Water and Sanitation to grant license for water supply to the communities. The Musekwesen well along the Njerere River used to supply the number of villages in the area. The reduction of flow rate of the river is a major blow for the nearest communities as there is no longer sufficient water. Water tankering is also playing a role in delivering water to those villages that the system is not functional. The municipality is currently having challenges with a number of water tankers to service the storage tanks placed on the strategic position. We are having about 14 water tankers. Of course, previously we were being supplemented by the Department of Water and Sanitation, but unfortunately they have withdrawn their water tankers. Villages that are still experiencing challenges in accessing clean drinking water under Marcado municipalities. Those are the villages as listed from Gombani, Gogobore, and other villages. Under Musina local municipality, of course, Musina local municipality is in the northern part of the country. It is the gateway to Africa together with Marcado local municipality, like I've indicated, the form part of our SEZ. Musina villages have been increased due to the dispensation of Mutare local municipality in the previous demarcations. The municipality has now benefited a number of wards. It is now approximately 12 wards. It has benefited a number of very rural villages. The larger part is composed of private farms. The municipality is also rich in minerals, hence there are several mines operating in the area. The Limpopo River serves as the boundary between Musina, that is South Africa, and Zimbabwe. The Mapungu Tourist Park is a historical park. Okay, we can skip that one. Musina local municipality have two main sources of water. The area does not have much of rivers and dams. Rupepe and Mwanedi are the two main dams in the area. There is a water treatment plant that Vembe constructed at Rupepe. The system supplies water to Forobode, Musodi, and other villages as listed. The other major source are boreholes along and inside the Limpopo River that supplies water to the Musina town and township. There are also boreholes that supplies villages such as Domboni, Marara, you mentioned them. And I must also indicate that with the boreholes that are submerged in the Limpopo River, we are experiencing a lot of problems. Our brothers from the other side of the river, at night they just come and uproot all the pumps, and then that is making us to find it very, very difficult. Okay, Musina local municipality, I've already indicated that we do have those dams. There are also boreholes. We can move to the next slide, please. Masisi Regional Water Scheme is an underground water scheme. It supplies water to various villages such as Sanari, Chivaroni, you name them, Umutarebi, and other villages down there. The district municipality have a plan to take over the Chikondeni water system and integrated it to the municipal one. Exaro and Vembe are in conversation around the issue, and the company is willing to assist in the process. The other plan is to construct a dam along the Mudare River, and if possible, the construction of the weir downstream will assist villages such as Chawero to Rubende Mutare and other villages down there. We can move to the next slide, thank you. Villages that are still experiencing challenges in accessing clean drinking water in Musina municipalities. There are, as mentioned, the Chukudini, Mapani, Marare, Chirunzini, and some few villages that are not mentioned. They are still, struggling in receiving water. Coming to Turamera local municipality. Turamera local municipality, of course, as of now, is the smallest local municipality within the district, but have the second largest population in the district. Turamera local municipality is the fastest growing point within the district. Due to the new demarcation, the local municipality lost some villages to the Collins Shawari local municipality and also gained some villages from the now defunct Mutare local municipality. We have bulk water supply sources in the municipality. Just to start with the name of scheme and then the design. The name of scheme within under Turamera local municipality include Vondo Regional Water Scheme around PPD. We have Damani Regional Water Scheme around Kupi, Mutare Regional Water Scheme, Belimu Package Plant, Zirai Package Plant, Zindi Package Plant, Nandoni Regional Water Scheme, PPD Waterworks, Mudashwari Package Plant. And next to each scheme or plant, there is the design capacity. We can move to the next slide. The majority of the villages under Turamera are supplied from the surface source and augmented by the boreholes. Approximately 93% of the villages have a supplement of the boreholes. Nandoni system is supplying the Toyando area and the former Bondo NN20B area. All areas supplied by Nandoni scheme are at least supplied for approximately more than 12 hours. It is only those areas that are still having challenges of illegal connections that are not getting water for more than 12 hours. Next slide, please. Thank you. Vondo Regional Water Scheme supplies village amongst them, PPD, Overa, and the rest of the villages as listed. With exception of Tuando F and Tuando G, the areas are all villages and receive water through yard connections. There are a few villages that are not connected to the system. There are still few villages that are still collecting water from the streets. Those are the villages that just been demarcated without proper planning. They are just mushrooming, or villages that due to the infrastructure need for refurbishment and operation and maintenance. Vondo scheme has been upgraded in 1982, and since then, no upgrading ever took place. The current situation is that Vondo is underperforming and unable to meet the demand due to population growth. Vembe District Municipality is currently upgrading the scheme from 52 megaliters per day to 72. This is also including the refurbishment of the treatment works. Vembe District Municipality is aware that the R2 pipeline that supplies water to Donald Fraser is underperforming due to some technicalities. However, the district is attending to the issues. The Mani Regional Water Scheme is a sub-scheme to Vondo Regional Scheme. The water treatment works have been upgraded from 4 megaliters per day to 12. The only challenge is that the dam has iron and manganese, which makes it difficult to meet the turnaround time in supplying water. The scheme is intended to supply water to the said areas, villages. The scheme is currently supplying water to the listed villages. The municipality is busy trying to expand the services to other villages that are intended to benefit from the scheme. The next phase has been advertised and closed. However, due to the current pandemic, processes have been delayed. Mutare Regional Water Scheme is located at Mutare area next to Chiramba Town. It was intended to supply water to the South African National Defence Force Battalion and the Chiramba Town. The area is 90% dependent on the groundwater, that is boreholes. The scheme was then upgraded by Vembe District Municipality to then supply water to the neighboring villages such as Tengwe, Madziwanani, Mangaya, Mahini, Parama, Chidongoro, Chitutuni, Matawera, Gundani, and others. The supply bulk pipeline was constructed after the proper analysis.
Your time is effectively up.
Okay.
How many more minutes can I give you to wrap up?
If you can give me 5 minutes, I think I will be done.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll try to be faster. It is unfortunate that the Mutare River, due to climate change, could no longer have greater flow rate. The following are the villages that are still experiencing challenges in accessing clean drinking water under Turamera local municipality. The villages are, as mentioned, from Manamani and Amatsik and other villages. Next. Overall key water supply challenges and intervention to address water supply. The first challenge is maintenance of schemes. Our major concern, hindering sustainable water services provision due to limited revenue collection. We also have, our intervention there is that the municipality is currently on procurement processes on the appointment of service provider on cost recovery to improve revenue collections. We also have a problem of dry off boreholes. Existing infrastructure is aging and requires refurbishment. And those are the methods that we are applying as measures to resolve the problems. From the first one, which is the process of upgrading of Nandoni water treatment works to ensure 250 megaliters per day to be able to meet the demand, and the rest of our interventions, as you can see on the slide. We also have theft and vandalism of water infrastructure is a very, very serious problem, together with illegal connections. We have listed some of our intervention strategies there in order to deal with all these problems. However, some of our interventions are short term and others are long term. Next. I thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner and other members of the panel. Thank you.
We thank you, Councillor Nenguda, for your presentation. We will now engage you as the panel. I will begin by handing over to Dr. Carter on my left, and thereafter I will hand over to the municipal manager following that. Over to you, Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay. I think for purposes of just expeditious questioning, I'll go straight to the point. I'm also going to refer to your IEP. This is the document that is also available for the members of the public. I've gotten it from your website, so this information is provided by you to members of the public. So on the IDP in table 6.5, it basically says that about let me see, about 5,055 households. Their main source of water is the water tanker. So you've just indicated, Mayor, that you've got 14 water tankers currently. So if we do a quick calculation, that's about each water tanker needs to serve 361 households. So I want to know, number one is those communities or those households who are solely reliant on water tankers, it's 5055. But surely other areas, as the boreholes dry up, as there's an emergency, as there's maintenance upgrading, they would also make use of water tankers. So this is the minimum, 5055, that would make use of 14 water tankers. So I want to know basically from you, is 14 enough? Why was the add-on water tankers taken away by the Department of Water and Sanitation? What was the reasons provided? And then flowing from that, I want to refer you to your table 6.4, which you say that 10,917 in the table, and I want to refer you to this discrepancy as well. In the table, you say 10,917 households make use of their main source of water from flowing water, streams, and rivers. And that's quite a lot. And this is your information. Their main source of water is rivers and streams. Now, in the paragraph just below that, you actually make a comment that is quite strange. You say, access drinking water from pipe taps inside our yard. However, there is a low number of 10,917 people accessing water from flowing water, stream, and rivers. Low number of this number of people. Number one, it's contradictory because your table says households. So it's not 10,000 people. It's 10,000 households. And number two, I don't think one can congratulate yourself to say that it's a low number when you speak about almost 11,000 households, not people, households, having to access water from streams and rivers, where your presentation has also indicated that, and we've heard from the academics, that it's a semi-arid area as well. So sometimes it's climate change, weather shifting, there's not necessarily always access to these sources as well. So 11,000 households have to make use of streams and rivers. Now flowing from that, I want you to comment on that as well. Flowing from that, now that you know that, and this is your information again, we're not coming up with this information, this is your information, that this number of households need to make use of the of natural resources basically, and knowing that you
then for the previous financial year, the year that ended in June, we managed to buy about 4 water tankers. So in other words, what I'm saying that we want to increase the number of water tankers on a yearly basis in order to cover the areas where we are supposed to be supplying water to the community. The reason why we are writing 555 is because we've got projects that we are having. We've got the WISIC project that we are doing in our areas. We find that we are having the boreholes that were drilled by both Limpopo, Northern Water, and the district municipality. Out of this 755 that was mentioned by our Honorable Executive Mayor, we've got our own water tankers, I mean our boreholes, which as the municipality, we are having a program to check all the boreholes that are dysfunctional out of the ones that were drilled by Limpopo Northern Water. We are having engagements with Limpopo Northern Water and the Department of Water and Sanitation on a quarterly basis, mainly to report about progress that we've made. It's only that recently the leadership of Limpopo has changed. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago where the new leadership were introduced to us. So those meetings that we are having, the technical committee meetings and our administrative meetings that we normally have, we are going to be continuing to have those meetings. As the district municipality, there was a report commissioned by CSIR in order to identify all the streams that we are having as the municipality. We have since taken the report to council. We have signed the service level agreement to give them an opportunity to source funds for the municipality, so that we must make sure that out of the streams, the boreholes that we have mentioned about the amount of money for the consultants, it's true, but we are using the general conditions of contracts when we charge, when we pay for the consulting work which was done by the engineers. So in other words, we are trying by all means that we don't have to pay anything out of the general requirements as per the legislation. I don't know whether I've covered all your questions, Doctor, but if I've not covered all of them, you can make follow-ups on the questions. Thank you.
Just in addition, thank you once more. You posed a question with regard to the water quality at Nandoni Dam. Yes, indeed, the standard there is normal. 3 weeks ago, we visited Nandoni Dam together with the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, the Honorable Bumakazi. And the first thing that she wanted to be clarified on was your question. And she was satisfied because we even perused the records there that every now and then they are checking the water quality, and we are satisfied. Thank you.
I want to hand over to the provincial manager, but it seems Dr. Kata has a quick follow-up question to that.
It's not a follow-up question. I just wanted to have your answer on why the Department of Water Affairs took away the water tankers that were with the municipality.
Thank you very much. The water tankers were borrowed. It was during the time of COVID that the department was trying to assist the municipality. So immediately when those water tankers were taken away, that's where we developed a program to say each and every year as the municipality were supposed to purchase water tankers. That is the program that I was talking about.
And how many did they take back?
They were about 8 in numbers because they were supplying waters to all the villages where we put the tankers there, for them to go and pour water in the tankers that they were installed in the community.
So 8 were taken away, and I see in terms of your planning, there's plan for 2 to be bought this year.
Yes.
So it doesn't necessarily address what was needed necessarily and taken away. And it's only planned for this financial year, so you don't have the replacement yet.
Yeah, remember I said to you we have already bought 5 in the 18-19 financial year.
But those are included in the 14 that you say you own now. So
yes.
So it's 14, and that's what I'm talking about. There was 8 more from Water Affairs, and you are planning to buy 2 more.
Yes.
In terms of your...
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And then over to you, Kim.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know where to start, but let me just start with a simple question. We received a presentation, and you were here this morning, from Ndabezita. You were listening to him, but there's no mention of the village that he was talking about. Is there any reason why you left that village out?
Thank you very much, PM. There's no reason why we left the village out. Remember, we did a summary of the reports that we were presenting. What we are going to do from here, we are going to have engagements with the Osita.
Mendo, I'm going to ask you again, please speak to the microphone.
Thank you very much. Through the Office of the Executive Mayor, there's a program for the Tihosi, Mayor Tihosi Forum.
I understand that forum, but that forum to me is not working because he took this time to come today, make a presentation in front of you. Don't you think that it was going to be this has created an opportunity for you maybe to to respond to some of the allegations that you have made. But you choose to leave that out. And beside that, under Province Chawan municipality, even if you say you have summarized the presentation from what you have submitted to us, under Province Chawan, Muinga village is not there. So I don't really understand, because you gave us only 10 villages that are still experiencing water shortage, but Muinga is not there. Is it not under Province Chawan?
It is under Province Chawan.
So why is it not there?
Chair, through you, Chair, we didn't leave it out deliberately, Chair.
You forgot about it?
No, we didn't forget about it.
So, okay.
There are some balls that were drilling in Province Chawan under we see. We are having the engagement.
No, what we are saying, he made a presentation today saying that they don't have water. Those allegations were made while we are sitting here, and he said there's no water in the village. So it means that all the allegations that he have made against the municipality are correct. You can't dispute that. You don't have any reason to say anything except that you accepted that you are not providing any service related to water to those villages.
Through you, Chair, the allegations made, remember we got the report here in this forum. I know that we got the report here while he was making the presentation.
So can you share with us what is happening at Muinga village? If it's contrary to what he had said, Muinga said in the morning.
It is not contrary, sir.
Okay.
What Hosi Minga has said here, it is true, he has presented the report.
It's true.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that as the municipality, it's not like we are not providing water in the municipality. We have got a water tankering system that we are using.
No, and let us focus on the allegation that you have mentioned, that they are being neglected by the municipality. Those allegations were made here by a complainant or a witness. While we are sitting here, I think that was supposed to be your opportunity now to clarify, or if you don't have any response to that, just to tell us your plan, that even if it was not forming part of your initial presentation, I think it was going to bring us a light on what is your plan in response to that. Or just to mention that we heard you, we will engage with you, maybe on a bilateral level, but you chose not to say anything in your presentation about what you have said.
Yeah, thank you very much, through you, Chair. I think let me say that we have heard what Hosi Minga has presented here. What we are going to do as the municipality, which I have already started, I requested Hosi Minga's number so that we can have continuous engagement about all the water-related issues at Minga.
So
including,
let us not be long because I don't have much time. Can you agree with me that this report you presented to us is not a true reflection of what is happening at Vembe district?
Sir, I cannot say that it is not a true reflection. Remember when we made a...
But if it does not include Muinga village, that is under you as the district municipality. Hence you heard while we were talking about Muinga village in the morning. Can you agree with me that it's not a true reflection? Because once you leave something out, it does not give it the true picture of what is happening at Vembe district.
Let me respond to your question like this, through Chairperson. I'm repeating myself to say that we gave you a summary. The reason why I took his number is to make sure that I make follow-ups on all the allegations that are there on the report in order to can assist Hosi Minga with all the water-related problems. The other thing that I want to mention, Chair, is that we do have the IDP processes that we follow as the municipality, in which we've got all the steps that are supposed to be followed. We're having engagements with the communities. It is out of those engagements.
I think we need to move because what you are saying is not related to what I wanted to. There are perceptions already developing from from that community that, and we mentioned this in the morning, that they feel like maybe they should have their own smaller Nyanabembe Day because you are leaving them out. What is your comment on that?
Yeah, Chair, that's why I said before now, I made time that I took his number so that I must have continuous engagements with him in order to clear those perceptions. Well, I was saying that we are having a project that we are having at Minga, that the two community structures are having a problem with. As the municipality, we are trying to sort out that problem so that people in that area get water through the borehole that we are expected to drill there. So in other words, what I'm saying is, I'm going to be having regular engagements with him so that we must make sure that all the water-related problems at Minga are solved, including the processes that are supposed to be followed through the IDP processes. I thank you.
Perhaps if I can just intervene there. You are saying there are plans in place. According to your projections, when will this issue of Mhinga be solved? According to your projections, because you already have a plan.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. According to me, we are going to make sure that within a year, the problem that they are, we are going to have short-term, long-term, and short-term, medium-term, and long-term plans in order to assist them. What we are going to do is to take their reports and check what is contained and withdraw our own action plan with them and check the resources that we are using.
You said you already have a plan. You said there's something that's currently being done, and you can't do anything without a plan. Now you are saying you are going to take the reports and draw a plan. Do you currently have a plan with regards to Mhinga?
Under Membe, in total, we might be having close, plus or minus about 55 to 60 villages that do not have clean drinking water. And then the plan that we are using.
So how many have been included here in your report?
I'll have to go check in the report. Under Police Chabani, it is 10.
I just want to raise this issue because your report is, I think it's full of inaccuracies because we as the Human Rights Commission, I think I had a meeting with you, with people of Mutoti village.
Yes.
Who still do not have water. They presented here yesterday.
Yes.
They still do not have water. And they're not here in your report. I mean, I don't understand why when we had an engagement, they took the key of the reticulation. They locked it up because you were not supplying water. We agreed that you are going to meet with them from time to time. Yesterday they were reporting here that your meeting with them, you met only twice, and those meetings are not even yielding any good results. They still do not have water. But that village is not included here. We have our own complaints. Here, when you look at these files here, I don't want to go through them one by one. I wanted to go through them if there was a dispute in terms of the village that we had mentioned. All these are some of the files that we are having that are still very new. That from the Bembe district municipality, those people do not have water. None of them are here. Makwarera just close to Tando. They don't have water. Makwarera means the township. It's just closer to Tando. There's no water. So I don't understand why those areas are not included here.
Yeah. Thank you. Through you, Chair. There are some of the areas which receive water 24 hours, some 12 hours, and some of them we are using the rationalization program that we are doing with the community, and it is communicated with them. The other reason why most of them are not included here, because we were looking at those areas that do not have clean drinking water at all. There are some that are receiving water on rational basis. So the program is communicated with the community members for them to understand when are we supplying them with water.
So in other words, your target is the sporadic supply of water. With you, if people get water in the evening and not in the afternoon, with you that is delivered, that you will say we are now not including this village because they get water. That is what you call supply to you.
Not really, Chair. There are some areas that were providing water. So what we written in the report here is area where we do not have water at all. And then the issue of Mutoti, we had meetings with them, and the request that they made is for them to get a line. And you know, Chair, for a pipeline to be constructed, we don't have to wait and say that we're going to be constructing a pipeline tomorrow. We need an engineer. That is the process that we're doing.
MM, we are running out of time. Those people do not want a line, they want water. They may resort into saying that they want you, they are assisting with the ideas, but the main aim, when they are engaging with you, they want water. Those technicalities of whether there is a reserve or what, it's not their business. Even yesterday when they were giving evidence, they were saying that the pipe have passed this place. We are not concerned as the Emiras Commission where the pipes pass. We want to see water into our villages. That is what we are talking about. We don't want to be more technical here. We are talking about a very simple thing. Our people at Membe District Municipality are receiving water. If you know that you are not supplying water in certain villages, why those villages are not appearing here? Including the village that was mentioned in the morning by Tandabesi Tamenga here. You didn't mention it. How many other things you have not included in the report that are related to water? I don't know if we should accept this report, because to me, more special understanding, you can't just mention 2 villages and say those are the villages that does not have water, whereas you know in your jurisdiction that you have other villages like Nandoni or Ramtoti where there's no water, but you didn't mention those villages. How do we trust that this information here is accurate?
I think what we're going to do is to revise the report, including all the areas that are receiving water on a rotational basis. We are going to be including in the report, and we need to be revising the report. Let me just say that.
I will leave that with the chair. That will be the decision of the chairperson whether we should accept more information or we shall go for finding. I will leave that with the chairperson, but I'm not really impressed with the information, more especially when we have been engaging before, and you sit here in the room. You have the community leader who came here to give us information, but you chose to ignore everything that they've said, and then you say, hey, I've taken them their numbers. We're not going to even to ask them if you exchange numbers, because that is not how it works. Whatever that you have done with them behind doors, it was supposed to be on record. You were supposed to say, with regard to Mwenga, we have engaged with them during break or whatever time, then we've taken the number, we're going to address the problem. But you didn't do that. Thank you, Chair.
I was not given the opportunity to add over and above what the executive mayor has presented. So that was going to be the opportunity wherein I will present what we have done, including the exchanging of numbers to make sure that whatever problem that Wosiminga is having is solved. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, you want to come in?
Yes.
Yes. Your time is effectively over, but we will just go on for another 5 minutes towards closure. Perhaps before you come in, I'd like you to also just add. Please let us know whether the people who were affected by the construction of Nandoni Dam, those people who were moved and were not compensated for decades, some of them have even died. Have all of those people, finally, all of them been compensated? Please speak to that, Mr. Mayor. Please also speak to the water bill that was sitting at 500 million in January 2018. How much is it now? Now, you mentioned that your jurisdiction is constituted of majority private farms. Do they have problems with accessing water? You also mentioned that you have a number of large mines. Now we know that mining activity and water go hand in hand. Do any of those mining companies have problems accessing water? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. Just to start with the issue of compensation, I must disclose to this August meeting that a lot has been done so far in compensating the people who are affected by the relocation. We held several meetings with the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, Honorable David Mathobo, together with the stakeholders there. The majority of those affected have received what they are deserving. But there are still a few. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be specific in terms of the figure. Even when the Minister himself, Honorable Senzo Mtunu, was here last month, we also entertained the fact that those who are still, who have not yet received their compensation must receive, the process must be speeded up. And even during our meeting with the Deputy Minister Gomagazi, we even met with the leadership of the stakeholders just to make sure that we identify those that are still lagging behind. With regards to the private farms, that is with under Musina local municipality, I must indicate to good self that yes, they don't have any problem. Like I've indicated in Musina, they are using the Njalere Dam for the irrigation. They don't have any problem. But when it comes to Limpopo area, they have blocked most of the rivulets, you know. The rivulets which were supposed to be flowing into Ruvubu. They have their small dams and they have drilled, you know, bones. So as I'm saying, the farmers there don't have any problem with regards to water. Maybe as I conclude, I want to appreciate the submission by Gondavizita Oslim. I've been listening very, very attentively. It's my first time to know about that report. However, like she indicated, I just told myself that I will have to visit the Royal Couronne so that we talk about the submission. Where we are supposed to intervene quickly, we will have to intervene. I know about the Shikunduminga, you know, plant, which is of course providing water to the communities around Shikutuli and so on.
To make follow-up with all the water-related issues within the district as far as the health facilities are concerned. We made it a point that we go to Ilim first because that was the main hospital with water challenges. We have drilled boreholes in Ilim. But Honorable Commissioner, internally, the infrastructure doesn't belong to the municipality. It is the hospital responsibility to make sure that their infrastructure internally is working. We have several engagements, myself with the hospital CEO, to say, we have did everything as the municipality. What more do we have to do as far as the provision of water at Ilim is concerned? And then he said to us, you know what, our procurement system is centered around Limpopo. Wherever we request some assistance, we are not being assisted. But as the municipality, we tried on our own to help where we can assist. Regarding other hospitals with water-related challenges, we are having a WhatsApp group with the people in the hospital. If there are water challenges, they easily tell us that we've got water challenges in this and this hospital. Please provide us with water tankers. And that is what we are doing consistently. It is true that we may not be covering all the areas, but where possible, we are trying our best. If they call us and if they send a message on our WhatsApp group, Commissioner can assist.
I just want to get your feeling on this one. Do you think you are really delivering water to your community in the district municipality? Do you think you are doing what you are supposed to do? Yes or no?
Through you, Commissioner, we are not doing everything that we are expected to do as the municipality because of the challenges in relating to the resources that we are having. We may want to assist, but in some of the cases, we are having the resources challenges that we are experiencing. That's why I'm telling you that we've even commissioned, we've requested SAHRC can commission a report and then try to assist the municipality. We have been given an opportunity by our council to go out as far as the refurbishment of infrastructure within the district municipality, because you will remember that infrastructure has aged. It is one of the contributing factors within the district municipality. And the budget that we have, it is mostly conditional grant, and right now as the district municipality, we are about to appoint a company who can assist with cost recovery, so that in the near future we become a grant independent municipality. Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you very much to yourselves, Ndade, Nenguda, and Lemendo. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the presentation. All is not lost, I must say. We are here to assist. We really sincerely want to work together. You had requested to maybe then relook your presentation following this engagement and resend us an edited or reviewed presentation. Now, in the spirit of really wanting to make some positive changes and not being adversarial, we are going to grant you that request. We are going to request that you do so within the next 7 days. Mr. Mayor, I would be amiss if I didn't mention this. During your presentation, when speaking to the issue of vandalism of infrastructure, you mentioned brothers, and I quote you, brothers from the other side of the river. Yeah. Now, we know what that means. Because you are on the border of another country, the reading is that you mean it is men from Zimbabwe. That is the assumption. Now, we are living in a world that is rampant with discrimination on the basis of race, gender, nationality, and it is our responsibility as leaders to be careful not to directly or indirectly perpetuate those systems of discrimination. I will urge you, my brother, to please guard against such language, because it could lead someone who views you respectfully could hear that, and it could then influence them to a particular perception. And it's not just with regards to xenophobia, but it's also with regards to gender. We know that analysts tell us that part of the reason that men, particularly African men, perpetuate so much violence is because of social conditioning. We know that if you tell someone that they are this enough times, they eventually become it. That is how the human mind works. So when we keep repeating without any basis or evidence that men are the ones who do this, it is then to say that there are no women who do this. And that perpetuates a particular perception about the violence of black men. And we are here trying to create a society that moves away from those kinds of perceptions. So I would please, my brother, encourage you to refrain from that kind of language. With that, we'd like to thank you both for your time. We'd like to thank you for your presentation. And we would like to encourage you to please address the challenges. Mendo, you have committed that in December there will be water in Mlinga. We will be there in January, and we hope that the people of Mlinga will all be drinking fresh water. Because if that is not so, there are consequences for giving false evidence under oath. With that, the time is now 4:39 and you're officially dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Kindly allow me to now call in the Limpopo local municipality to the podium, Mayor Councillor Magdalene van Stade and the MM Dr. S. Mhlanga. As they come to the floor, Commissioner, I will hand over to you. Commissioner, thank you very much.
Good afternoon and welcome. Councillor van Staden and Dr. Mhlanga. Welcome to the both of you. Will you kindly state your full names and positions and institutions for the record?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioner. It's Marlene van Staden. I'm the Mayor of the Limpopo local municipality.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. My name is Mitigations, Acting Municipal Manager.
Dr. Mhlanga, I'm going to perhaps ask you to just go closer to the municipal mayor and repeat that to the microphone.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mitigations, Acting Municipal Manager.
Thank you very much. Do either of you object to taking the oath?
No.
No.
Then while you are there, let us administer the oath while you stand. Will you kindly raise your right hands? Do you swear that the evidence you shall give this afternoon is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please state, so help me God.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Councillor van Staden, the time is now 4:42, 4:40. You will have 25 minutes to offer us your presentation. Please try to stick to the critical areas and thereafter we shall engage you. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who's going to do the slideshow? I just want to... Oh, okay, excellent. Thank you. You can go to the next slide. Right, this is just a brief background, Commissioner. So, our municipality is a... Would you mind if I take my mask down? It's a brief amalgamation of two former municipalities. The former Modimolle and Limpopo municipalities amalgamated in 2016, meaning that we now have 5 water supply systems in total, and our municipality is a water services authority. So we've got the towns of Modimolle, Limpopo, Groundwater, Alma, and also Ruta, with a total population in the 2016 Stats SA count of nearly 108,000 people, total households 28,977. We've got 78% of our households that have access to water. We've got a backlog of about 22%. Those are our water sources systems. We've got 2 large dams, one feeding Modimolle and one Limpopo. Our systems in Groundwater, Alma and Ruta are reliant on boreholes only. And in the town of Modimolle, we also have Magali's water board supplying the town with a pipeline. Then in the Modimolle, Magali's and Limpopo systems, all of them are surface water augmented by boreholes. And then, as I said earlier, Groundwater, Alma and Rutan, Mabeleng, Mabetlane, Rutan are all dependent on only boreholes. This is just a summary of all the bulk water infrastructure that the municipality has. So it just gives you a short indication of, in total, what the municipality has to work with. Some of these that you see at the moment we've inherited, and some of them we've actually installed over the past 5 years with the newly formed municipality. This is our supply systems. So it gives you a summary of what is the water demand in each of our systems versus the supply that the municipality has and the variance. Now the unfortunate part is that in all of our systems, we actually have a higher demand than supply. So in each of the areas, there are a little bit more water demand than what the municipality can currently supply. These are our basic water sources. And I was trying to show with the slide what was the initial supply capacity versus what is the output and the current actual. So for example, on the very first system, Donkerpoort, you'll see that the design of the plant was 10 megaliter a day, but the actual output is only 2.4. And I want to explain, for example, in that specific system, why that is the case. So although our design was for 10 megaliter, the pipeline going from Donkerpoort Dam to town can only supply 2.4. So that is the reason why our supply is not as much as the system output. So actually a whole new pipeline must be built from Donkerpoort to town for us to be able to use the full supply of the design capacity. Then according to the Magalies water system, you'll see that initially the design was for a lot, but currently that was 42 megaliter a day, but the municipality currently receives an actual of 6. So that is also according to the pipeline of Magalies. They've recently also started using the Sondela pump station that was in 2019 that then increased our supply that was sitting around about 4 to 6 a day that really helped the municipality. Some of the other areas, I can go through them individually if we get to some of the questions later, but you can move to the next slide. These are some of the current control measures, like for example in the Modimole system. We were talking about what is the design capacity versus supply, and also the demand versus supply schedule that I showed in the second slide. This is what we are doing to managing that specific demand from our customers. So we actually have a water rotational schedule that we use to make sure that our residents all get water every day, but some might not get water 24 hours a day. So we use that shut-off scheduled supply that is available. We also use the supply of water tankers. Now, I can also inform the Commissioner that in 2016 up to about 2018, the municipality were purely reliant on contractors to actually use water tankers. But we actually stopped that completely at the municipality. We don't use any water tankering system from contractors anymore. We have bought our own trucks. So instead of renting 5 water tankers, we now own 5 water tankers that supply residents. We saved a lot of money by buying our own water tankers, and we actually have more consistent supply in those areas. We also installed JoJo tanks. So all of the areas that actually get supplied through water tankers, we don't deliver water to people at their houses. We deliver through water tank systems. So we've got JoJo tanks in all of those areas that we are mentioning there. We also have installed the pressure reduction valves in the town of Limpopo. That was installed in the year 2017-2018 and has worked very effectively for the municipality. And in that same year, we also installed pressure valves that take some of the air out of the water, air out of the pipelines that we also do in Modimole. And that's our managed when we do the shut-off systems. We also operate some of our water boreholes, especially in the towns of Mukopong, Modimole and Groundwater, with a daily timer system. So it goes on 6 hours, off 6 hours, on 6 hours to make sure that we don't run the boreholes dry. We've got daily network monitoring and inspection. We do water saving campaigns through the Department of Water and Sanitation, also Magalies Water, and then we also manage our dam obstruction. I don't know if the Commissioner is aware, but in 2016, shortly after I became the Mayor, I was informed that Donkerpoort Dam was completely empty. There was not one drop of water left that we could use. And after 7 months of not being able to use that system, we completely changed the way that we manage our dam systems in the municipality. And we now do management of dam obstruction, And since then, we've never run out of water in that dam again. So we try to make sure that we don't run it dry, but that we rather manage it throughout the year. These are some of our challenges and mitigations that we've identified over the period. You can see the first one there being aging infrastructure, and we actually manage that through the replacement of asbestos pipelines within with UPVC. In Limpopo, we actually replaced more than 15 kilometers of asbestos pipeline from 2016 to date. We also have plans of replacing some in Morimori, and everywhere we go, we try to upgrade our system. Demand exceeds supply through population growth and especially additional informal settlements that go up everywhere. We've got community awareness programs, water conservation demand strategy. We've got limited natural water sources. So we try to drill as many boreholes as we can. Some of them not on municipal property, but we have rental or lease agreements with farmers in the surrounding area where we drill boreholes. Water leakages or pipe bursts, we have mitigated that through improved turnaround times and the system pressure management. A challenge, insufficient funding for water capital projects. So what we've done is we have applied to the Department of Water and Sanitation in terms of WSIG for additional funding for capital projects for water. Unfortunately, in the past 2 years, we've had quite a bit of a struggle to get some of our monies from the department. In the current year, our business plans have been submitted and approved, but we are still waiting for the letter for an implementation agent as well as the go-ahead to start with the current year projects. Meaning that in the first quarter of the current year, we've not spent 1 cent of money, and the 60 million rand that has been allocated to us in the DORA, we have not yet received it. Then it says lack of resources, for example, materials and vehicles. So we've actually increased our operational and maintenance budget. We've bought buckies, we've bought trucks, we've bought material, we've got arrangements with contractors that supply specific materials for the municipality. And we've also collaborated with private organizations like the Danish government and also AfriForum in terms of the lack of resources. Illegal connections, we've done community awareness and also bylaw enforcement. The drought we've mitigated through drilling of boreholes and also managing our water supply. Vandalism and theft, we try to do tighter security measures, putting additional security guards, also collaborating with community policing forums and also the South African police. This is our immediate, short, medium and long-term water supply solutions, like requested in your letter. So under immediate solutions, what we've done to make sure that we augment water supply, as we've tested and equipped additional boreholes. We've also built or busy building a pipeline taking water to Ward 6 in Morimori. We've also done exploration of, you'll have to go back one, exploration of water supply. Then under medium-term strategies, what we've done is we are busy with a groundwater protocol study, and the Department of Water and Sanitation also assisted us with a hydrological study in 2020. Unfortunately, even that hydrological study conclusions resulted in some boreholes being drilled and coming up completely dry, which is quite a frustration for the municipality. We are also busy with an integrated water management plan and a very comprehensive water services master plan that we've already started with the process, and that will have a long-term strategy for us on how we're going to manage our water, a water services development plan, water conservation and demand management, consumer water meters. We did a study in 2019 that we then submitted to WSIG, and we've had an allocation for 10 million rand in the current financial year for the installation of water meters based on that. But according to our calculations, we actually need about 50 million rand to sort out the water meter issue. We've got nearly 3,500 RDP homes in our municipality, for example, that don't have household connections. And when the Minister of the Minister of Human Settlements visited 2 weeks ago, I specifically pointed out that bulk infrastructure is installed by provincial government. RDP homes are built by the contractors from provincial government, but they never do household connections, and they don't install water meters. So that specific issue has been addressed with the provincial government as well, and they promised that they will assist residents and the municipality to sort that issue out. We also have an active leakage control system. And under long term, We've got increase of dam capacity. The reason why we've put up number 1 is specifically in the town of Mokopong. The Welgevonden, formerly called Efficacy Dam, is only a, I wanted to say capacity one, but it's a type 1 dam, so it's very small. So we'd really like to actually increase the capacity of that dam. Again, we have applied to the Department of Water and Sanitation to assist the municipality to see if we can't clear out the reeds and do sort of like a whole dam rehabilitation to see if we can't increase the amount of water that the dam can take. We've got increased bulk water pipelines. That application for the Klipvoer supply scheme that will also take water to the towns of Limpopo and Groundwater has already been submitted in the 2012 and 2013 financial year. Unfortunately, to date, Magalies Water says they've not been able to put any additional funding for that project. So the studies have been completed, the designs have been made, but the funding has not been made available. And then it's a wastewater recycling system. We have visited a few and that we've proposed, especially for the towns of Rutan, Valwaard and Alma, if we can't use that to augment the amount of water that we can put back into the system in terms of a package plant that we put up. And there's also the tin mine line project that I would like to incorporate there that the department is also aware of, where we need an additional package plant. The Minister of Water and Sanitation came to visit us. We took them to the actual facility. The infrastructure is there, but we need a recycling plant to make sure that the quality of water is potable. Then this is a summary of the national and provincial assistance that the municipality have received to date. So you'll see in terms of the municipal infrastructure grant, for the current year, we are awaiting 13.5 million rand that have been allocated to the municipality for augmentation of water supply in the terms of drilling of boreholes, equipping of additional boreholes, and also supply of electricity to those boreholes to take additional water to communities. There's also in terms of the water infrastructure grant. Now that is the one that I said earlier that we, although the DORA has allocated the money already, the business plans have been approved. For those ones, we have been waiting since March for the actual allocation. So if the Commissioner can even assist us to make sure that that money can be made available to the municipality, we actually wanted to start a long time ago already and we're absolutely ready to go, but we are waiting for the Department of Water and Sanitation. And then others is a project that we're currently doing with the Danish Embassy. It's been going on for about 12 months where they're going to help the municipality with a bore optimization project. They've been on site, they've actually appointed a contractor, so they actually help us to make sure because they specialize in boreholes and groundwater. So it's quite a comprehensive project that we are working on them with them. And then we also have another project with WRC Consulting where we look in terms of water use efficiency. We did a whole unaccounted for water study. We do a monthly water balance. We do blue and green drop internal analysis through them. So it's quite a comprehensive thing. And then we also received, under others, assistance, and we signed a formal memorandum of understanding with AfriForum on a national basis, where they assist the municipality with water and sanitation, and to play a watchdog role to help us to make sure that some of these things are implemented correctly and we actually get improved service delivery of water to our residents. These are some of the water quality solutions, and you would see that in our report that we submitted initially. We actually included some of our water quality studies that is normally undertaken by Magalies Water as our water board. And the most recent one was submitted on the 7th of October to test the quality of water that we supply. So you can see under short term it says improve the turnaround time for all reported queries, issue daily community notices. We do that on WhatsApp groups and also social media platform Facebook, and with our ward committees. We do compliance monitoring. It's definitely not perfect, but we are monitoring some sort of quality water, but we'd love to improve that. And we also do community awareness, where we speak to community members. Under medium term, we conduct daily operational and compliance monitoring at all 5 of our systems. We have advertised just recently to appoint a water quality specialist that would work both for blue and green drop, and in normal potable water and sewage water to test the quality every day. And then a long term, we do replacement of asbestos pipelines, because it's mostly when we have to repair pipe bursts on these pipelines that we struggle with brown water in the system until it clears again. And then an in-house laboratory that we'd like to establish. And that's the end. I didn't go into too much detail or long paragraphs, Commissioner. I wanted to keep it as simple as possible.
Thank you very much. Municipal Mayor van Staden, thank you also for sticking to the time. The panel will now engage you. Take a seat. The panel will now engage on your presentation. I will begin with Dr. Carter and then come to the provincial manager. Over to you, Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mayor. I think, again, I think you would have seen what the modus operandi is. We point out maybe more comments and questions as well, so you can answer after I've made my comments and questions. Victor, can I just request that you push this camera stand to the side? Thank you. Excuse me. Okay. The first comment I'd like to make is that it is clear that your municipality is heavily reliant on boreholes, which means that there needs to be a very alertness in respect of how we treat the water and the natural resources around the towns. Also to prevent contamination. Now, I don't know if you know why I'm moving towards contamination of boreholes. If I refer to case 108/12/2020, which is a criminal case that was opened against the municipality in respect of the Limpopo landfill site. Now, why I'm raising that is that there's a fear that a lack of attaining to landfill sites and the general pollution issue and sewage within the municipality is going to affect the borehole systems. There's already complaints with the Human Rights Commission of sewage leaking into the Nile River and sewage possibly affecting the boreholes. So you are heavily reliant on boreholes in respect of your submission here. There's criminal cases opened against the municipality in respect
to site in Limpopo. And foul water is also, I think, has reached its capacity. And as we're sitting here, we have just procured a farm, not just adjacent to the existing landfill site. We have already commenced with the environmental impact assessment for the development of a new landfill site, so that we can then active partners managing or co-managing the landfill sites with us in preparation for the opening of the new landfill site. We have placed an order for a landfill site compactor. That was one of the shortcomings which we had in the past, where dumping just happens, but we did not actively then compact on a daily basis as should be done. So we are expecting delivery of that new compact shortly in the next week or two. Currently we're just relying on hiring of equipment as and when we need to. Leakages of clean water reported. Yeah, definitely we again contact that Commissioner. It's an issue of capacity, and it's historical issues, Commissioner, where a lot of our employees are general workers. So we have a shortage of artisans. But what have we started doing? In some of those general workers, we've identified the ones who have been all along working very closely with artisans, and we have started sending them for trade tests so that we can upskill them. There's not much we can do. We can't wish them away. They are already with us, so we can only upskill them. That leads to some of the delays in resolving those freshwater leakages, which you pointed out. Sewer spillages, again we have directives which we are sitting with Commissioner, and we also consider that we have criminal cases opened
against myself and the manager, water and sanitation. It's again institutional which I can't go deep into, but some of the infrastructure is old and it just needs to be refurbished. We have ongoing projects where we are refurbishing our wastewater treatment works, and then as a stopgap measure, we have hoped that, let me say, we have procured a combination jet which we can use for rapid response wherever these sewer spillages or manhole blockages happen. That combination jet has been manufactured specifically for us, and it will be delivered in the coming week, Commissioner. Thank you.
Just a quick follow-up, just a comment on the effect that I understand you are saying that these issues are institutional, the sewage issues are institutional, the landfill issues are institutional, but we're not speaking about them now. The effect that they might have on borehole water, I want you to possibly just comment on that. And I want you possibly also to concede that that will have an effect on your boreholes, which you are heavily reliant on. That's the number one. And if you indicate, and the Mayor has indicated that there's several applications for funding at several levels, whether it's at Water Affairs, whether it's at COPTA, that are in the process. But there's criminal cases pending against you in your personal capacity. So I am asking you, who's causing this? Is a criminal case against you being caused by a lack of funding being provided to the municipality? Or what is the issue here? Because at the end of the day, if the MPA is going to come, and if SAHRC is going to come and arrest you, that's going to be you. And it's not going to be the Department of Sanitation sitting in Polokwane. So I want you just for me to reflect on who's responsible here. Because at one point, and the rainy season is coming, the water is going to go down. And you know how the sewage is looking. You know how the landfill sites are looking. And it's going to possibly affect your boreholes. Where is the issue here? Thank you.
Commissioner, I hope I got you correct. The closest sewer plant, the one which is closest to the boreholes, it's on the Nile Flay. Again, I'm going to concede it's maintenance issues, but we have refurbished it. So as I'm speaking now, that plant is functioning well. The boreholes, we constantly test them. And AfriForum is involved, they have been involved, the local branch of AfriForum. Philip is hardly a week passes without him visiting the borehole sites. So the ones which were identified as contaminated were decommissioned, Commissioner. We discontinued using them. Then the landfill sites, potentially yes, it could cause contamination, but it's quite a distance. Often I can't say how many kilometers far away it is from the borehole area. Our biggest concern was the sewer plant, which is located within the same vicinity of the boreholes. But we have refurbished it, and it's running well now.
Thank you very much. MM, over to you, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, Mayor and MM. But I feel a bit demoralized and just you concede to this and that. And so there is an admission that you are failing our people. Can you also consider that?
PM, sometimes it's pointless to argue with the truth. You can only get better if you start by accepting the shortcomings.
Yeah, but the challenge that I'm facing, yes, you acknowledge or you concede to the failure, but still if you do not have a plan and you do not know when you will resolve the problem, why don't you just resign? Taking into account that you know that you can't do anything, but you are being paid every month, why don't you just resign?
I don't want to say this is true that we're not doing anything or there is no plan. There are plans, and I think a bit earlier I highlighted what we are doing, like refurbishing the existing wastewater treatment plants. It's part of that plan. We are also, there is contractors on site as we're sitting here, dealing with the issues of sewer outflow, expanding the existing pipelines so that there's better flow. We have traditionally been running on 110 millimeter lines, and we're upgrading that to 350 millimeter lines.
Yeah, the biggest challenge that we're facing with the area that we're talking about, the soil spillage in the area, is that it's not only affecting the underground water, it's also affecting the people who are staying in that area. I visited the place, I know the place myself. And some of them, they can't even get out of their own house because there is sewage all over. Even if just on the doorstep of their house, there's, some full of sewage there, everything is just mixed up. And those things, you can't even eat when you're in that area. You can't eat anything, you know the situation. But what is surprising is that there's court order already. Now is another case that has been opened against you. There's no plan in place as to where that problem will be resolved. Instead, you are contaminating the environment and the underground water in the meantime. Everything is in a mess. So what are you being paid for?
If I'm correct, you are referring to Extension 6, is that?
Yes.
Yeah. There is a plant which was constructed by the provincial government. That plant, for whatever reason, was never fully operational. So we are busy constructing a line now to divert effluent from that area down to the plant. We are.
I think we during our visit in when was that? We visited the area in 2019. Last year with yeah. I mean with other commissioners, Commissioner Mayor and Commissioner Svani. Last year February. Yes. We visited the area. The mayor was not there. You were also not there, despite the fact that we alerted you that we were going to come and do inspection with you. But to our surprise, you still do not have a plan. 2 years later, you do not have a plan to resolve the problem.
That's the area I'm saying. Right now, we are busy on site.
You are busy on site?
Yes. Maybe if you get opportunity.
Can we arrange a quick visit? I want to see that. Before we finalize the report, we finalize the draft, we will have to come to.
Can I maybe just also add, there was actually 2 plans. One, the contractor is currently still on site. It was a project funded by MIG. And then as part of the current year WSIG, there's a 10 million rand allocated for the whole refurbishment of the infrastructure in that specific area. And also the purchase of additional booster pump to send into that station. If the WSIG grant would have allowed us already from March, we would have been done by now to sort that whole problem out for a long term. But unfortunately, since March, we have been waiting for that WSIG allocation. So we were hoping that by the time we sit here today, we could tell you that all of our plans have already been completed. But the one contractor has been on site for the past 4 months and is nearly finished with his part. And then we've got all our other plans in place, so we can submit that business plan to you for the next 10 million rand that we're going to spend on there to do a long-term strategy to solve that issue.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm not much interested in the business plan. I'm happy with the undertaking that the contract is on the site. I'm saying, can we visit the area as soon as before it can be before the end of this month, to see if indeed the contract is on site?
Yes.
Are you going to take our officials around to show them where the contract is on site? I'm asking this question. These are some of the government officials in the municipality that are very, very difficult to secure their attendance for a meeting. Even when we go to their offices, it's a pity that the office itself is in a state that even they can't even replace the window that is broken. We have visited the area and it's very painful to see the municipality building to be in that condition. So we are concerned as the Human Rights Commission. Then that's why we want to know, because we know that to secure your attendance for a meeting, it's only when we threaten to subpoena you. That is where you will be cooperative. That is true. You know about that. What's your comment? So now you are not even cooperating with other departments because they end up opening case against you. That is an indication that you don't even cooperate with your own constituency. So who do you cooperate? Who are you saving? I just wonder, who are you saving? Because if our people are suffering, the government department you just confirmed that you appear before the Department of Environment Affairs. You confirm that there are 2 court cases. The other one, they just open against you as an individual. Who are you saving? Who do you cooperate with? And when you say you are accountable, who do you account to?
I'm not sure, Commissioner, which department will not cooperating with, but I can guarantee you that Hoaxter, we are in touch almost every week. Treasury, we are in touch also frequently. Environmental affairs, even last week I was with them.
So the court order, why should we have a court order against them?
That court order is a carryover. I think it started with 2 previous.
Then the case that has been opened against you?
It's been carried over. It's carried over. So.
The case that has been opened against you?
The case against you was opened in December, so it's not a carryover.
It's not a carryover.
And the court order, why I asked in respect of your commitment with AfriForum, was in fact a case opened by AfriForum against you. So that is why I was specific on the date. So it's not a carryover because the non-compliance remains. But yeah, that's from us.
But I just want to understand, who do you account to? Because we are here, we are sitting here. It was a struggle to get you here. We must confirm that. We wrote letters, the mayor is not available, you are not available, make follow-up, then you confirm to be available. Then yes, we are here together. Then we want to know, I'm happy that you are saying that the contract is on site. That one makes me happy. But we are coming to check. Can we make an appointment as to whether you to be yourself or the mayor will take us around? We'll be fine with that. We don't want anyone who is not part of this meeting, because this is an undertaking out of this particular hearing. So we want one of you to be available for us. We'll arrange the date, we'll clear on the date, then we'll come and do the inspection together. Then you will show us progress that has been made, if there's any. So do you agree that we can do that together? Okay.
Thank you very much, MM and yourself, Municipal Mayor. Could you tell us if the investigations and the unauthorized fruitless and wasteful expenditure have now been done?
For which year, Commissioner?
I see a report here. It doesn't really stipulate the year. I can just, because I've lost the report, I can follow up with the provincial manager in following up with the visit. I will specify the date, but there's a report that I received. There were disputes on investigating wasteful, or here it is, Business Insider, July 2020, revealed 18 of the worst municipal money horror stories in South Africa. And one of those 18 relates to your municipality. And it says that the three main political parties in the council could not reach consensus on the process needed to be followed in conducting investigations into fruitless, wasteful spending at the local municipality. Are you aware of this?
I've not seen that specific article, but what I can confirm is that for the years 2016, 2017, 2018, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, and 19, 20, all of those Section 32 expenditures have been investigated and accepted by Council. For the current year that we are busy auditing, 2020, 2021, we have taken a report to Council regarding the fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Council have considered, it's been referred to impact for final investigation and would normally come back that first week in December, ready for the final annual report. So everything else is up to date.
Thank you very much, Ms. van Staden. On that note, then, I will hand this question to the provincial manager to formally follow up. We'll just do proper research in addition to just this article to verify the information you are giving us against this report. With that, I would like to move towards closure, but I would like to hand over to Dr. Carter, who may have a follow-up question, and thereafter the provincial manager as well.
Just the last one from you. What is the status of your Auditor General submission? I think in terms of the MFMA report that they issued is you did not submit. Is that correct? I'm asking what is the status, and then number two, whether you use consultants to do your auditor submissions.
Dr. Carter, I'm assuming you're asking about 2020-2021 financial year. We have submitted our financial statements as regulated on the 31st of August 2021, and we are currently, the Auditor General is on site. So in terms of preparation, we followed a hybrid process because we are in transition from moving away from consultants. We have an internal resource who assumed duty on the 1st of July, but because they were very new, we partnered them with a consultant as a transitional phase.
Thank you very much, Ms. van Staden and Dr. Mhlanga, for your time and presentation. We've now come to the end of your presentation and time with us. As indicated by the provincial manager, we shall be in engagement with you further. So this then means this is not the end of our engagement. If there are any follow-up questions, we shall provide them to you in writing, and further to that, we'd like to visit your municipality to verify information that you have provided to us here. As you understand, you are under oath. Therefore, if the verification process is contrary to what you have provided, there are consequences for such. In that regard, it's now 5:30, and before I release you, I'd like to just give you 2 minutes to offer closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. From my side, the closing remarks will just be that I think there are many shortcomings in the municipality that we'd still like to address. We're striving towards becoming a municipality that can really provide extremely good services to the residents that live there. But we realize that we're not even halfway where we want to be, not in terms of water or sewage. But we will be continuing to work every day. And I think that's one of the reasons when the Commissioner was asking earlier why people don't resign. Because we can never give up. So even if there are challenges, and even if we struggle with resources, and even if we know that we are not where we want to be, the last thing we can do is give up, because our first priority should always be to make sure that we provide the best possible services. Potable water, clean drinking water, sewage. We're aiming for blue and green drop in all our towns in the municipality, and we will not stop before we get there. And a clean audit is definitely coming our way. I think it's going to take us 2 or 3 years. In 3 years' time, I want to sit here and tell you that we managed to get a clean audit at that municipality, and we're definitely moving in that direction. So thank you very much for the opportunity, because we actually appreciate the fact that there's always a watchdog, making sure that they look after the interest of the residents in South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much to yourself, Municipal Mayor, as well as Municipal Manager. You are now officially released. Thank you. Program Director, could we just take a 5-minute leg stretch before the next presenter?
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Kindly take a 5-minute break, just for stretch, and as we come back, the Sekhukhune District Municipality will then take the podium. Request the Sekhukhune District Municipality, the Mayor and the Municipal Manager to come take the podium. I really sanitized, and I'm sanitizing for the second time. You are welcome to take the podium so Commissioner can take over. Thank you very much. Commissioner, the Sekhukhune District Municipality is ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Program Director. We welcome Councillor Ramaila and MM Morin. Welcome to the hearing. You've got the benefit of being the last presenters of the week, which means we've got all night for you. And welcome to both of you. Perhaps you can stand next to the mayor for the purpose of administering the oath before we allow you to sit down. Could the both of you kindly state your full names and positions and institutions for the record?
My name is Mitigations, the Executive Mayor of Sekhukhune District Municipality.
Could you say that a little bit louder for the microphones?
My name is Mitigations, the Executive Mayor of Sekhukhune District Municipality.
Good afternoon. My name is Maureen Zulisane, the Municipal Manager of Sekhukhune District Municipality.
Thank you both. and welcome. Do either of you have any objections to taking the oath this afternoon?
No.
No. Kindly raise your right hands. Do you swear that the evidence you shall give this afternoon is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, kindly state, so help me God.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you very much. Now, you may take a seat, and you are duly administered. On a lighter note, if this was a fashion contest, you will have won the day, both of you. We hope your presentation will be just as beautiful. Municipal Manager, you've got 25 minutes to offer. Time, according to my clock, is now 5:43. Over to you.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, Commissioner and your colleagues. I'm the Executive Mayor and would like to make this presentation an oath on understanding that the presentation I'm about to make is a report to from the Executive Mayor's office, where I raise operational matters. I will be raising them as advised by the administration. I may, however, have general personal knowledge of the substance of the presentation broadly. These are the areas that we'll be covering and proceed. Next slide. Right, thank you very much. The total population for Sekhukhune District Municipality is 1,076,840 in total, comprising of 4 local municipalities. Can you proceed? All right, now in terms of the level of access to water, in as far as the water service level is concerned, using state essay and community survey, piped or tap water inside dwelling or institution, percentage-wise is 11%. That is 2015-16, 16-17 still 11. Then 2017-18, 2018-19 is 12%. Then piped tap water inside the yard, or take the 2017-18, 2018-2019 is 35%. Then piped water on community distance less than 200 meters, that is an RDP standard, is 22%. No access to piped water, that is 31%. This represents mostly the areas that we sell through tankering, and that gives us the total. The next one. Water sources availability. In the main in Sekhukhune, we've got 2 main sources, York Dam and Flatbush Dam. We also have got 2 dams, the Verpelakan Dam, which is in the area of Jennifer's. The dam used to serve Jennifer's Hospital and St. Rita's Hospital. We all are aware that the Jennifer's Hospital was located to a new place, but when that happened through illegal connections, we could no longer be able to serve Jennifer's Hospital through Verpelakan Dam. We are only serving St. Rita's Hospital and some villages in the vicinity. But about the Verpelakan Dam, which was the main source, as we speak now, we've got a challenge of siltation, as well as Pitho's Dam, which is in Kamasemula, which has been serving the areas, the northern part of Sekhukhune. The dam is also silting. So both dams, as we speak now, the carrying capacity is almost reduced to 50%. So it has affected the way we've been supplying water to quite a number of villages in the areas of Gentres, Amasemana, and so on. That is Sekhukhune Central and the northern part of Sekhukhune. Then we have Olifants river abstraction points that are illustrated here. Provincial, we are drawing 15.7 megaliters per day. Flepichiolo is 11.5 megaliters per day of raw water. And then Olifants Port, which is in the northern eastern part of Sekhukhune, we are drawing 60 megaliters per day. But I must say 2 weeks back, we were visited by the Minister of DWS at Flepichiolo Dam, where the water purification plant has been upgraded from the 8 megaliters to 16 megaliters. Now, what is happening there is that the coverage has improved, and that will even relate to an area of Flepichiolo West, where we have a court order. The court order directing the municipality to supply water to the Flepichiolo areas to the amount of 1.04 megaliters, rotationally on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And as we speak now, the water available for the Flepichiolo West is 3.6 megaliters, which means it's oversupply. What we are dealing with now is coming out with a water conservation and demand management strategy, but also ensuring that we collect revenue from the Flepichiolo West area and related adjacent villages. That is in as far as the upgrade of Flepichiolo is concerned. The design capacity of Flepichiolo originally was to serve 56 villages. And as we speak, it is serving 156 villages. And we are supplying water on rotational basis in this regard. Most of the villages receiving water rotational once a week, some receiving water twice a week. Now, another source is groundwater. And according to the District Municipality's 2015 Water Master Plan, in 2014, groundwater supply was 25.61 megaliters of total water demand of 52.42 megaliters, which is 49%. Therefore, we've got a deficit of 51% in this regard. And according to Great Database, we did not include boreholes from which the area in 2014, there were 4,940 boreholes in the district, of which only 2,040, which constitute for 1%, were in use. More than 75% of the communities in 2014 were still relying solely on groundwater. The situation has slightly changed, but we still mainly rely on groundwater. Areas not served by bulk water infrastructure, as listed, those are the areas in Ephraim, local municipality, Mantule villages, that is fiscally remote, served through Tenkari, Makrutamaga. Those are the villages in Makrutama that are served through Tenkari, including the last bullet in which we say, in addition, there are areas per scheme where there is limited infrastructure, due to new and planned settlement. That's the biggest challenge that we are faced with as well. The next slide. Now, in terms of short-term measures, a stopgap measure, obviously in compliance with the human rights of ensuring that, because water is a human right, through Tanker we must make sure that at least there is some water that gets delivered to the people. So delivery of water is scheduled weekly to fill storage tanks positioned in a given village for physical access. And currently this service is being rendered in Makrutama local municipality, 90 villages, Elias Mutari local municipality, 220 villages. And I must say, last year, the former Minister of Department of Water and Sanitation came to our district, especially in Mutse. The area of Mutse is being served from the date Dr. J.S. Mukombo Dam, which dried up last year, and as such there had to be an intervention from the minister. And the intervention of the minister resulted in the district municipality receiving 20 water cards from DWS, and we have erected 10 tanks in the area of Mudze that are over 200. And we are using those water cards to fill the tanks. The next slide. Now those are the areas that we are covering in the primarily 40 villages. We are covering 255 villages through Tenkara, which is quite a huge challenge. We believe we've got enough and sufficient source. We must be able to also, as we develop our infrastructure, but we must also be able to do household connections. And by doing such, that would enable us to increase our revenue base. Now, we have Mahero Command Reservoir, that's 5 megaliter under construction. I've spoken about the Jenfest Command Reservoir. Nkadimen Command Reservoir 3 megaliter commissioned. With the Nkadimen Reservoir, the long-term plan is also, it needs to be linked to the developed dam. Through the infrastructure that we are busy with Exponent, it is expected in a long term there should be a pipeline through Skinner from the rope dam that will also be able to transfer water into the Nkadimen dam. The same challenge we have in Nkadimen dam, that is that the design capacity was meant for a very few villages, but it has been expanded, so it has even gone above its capacity to supply the villages. So we are augmenting that with some of the villages. But this is the infrastructure that we are busy constructing. Can proceed. In terms of strategic water and wastewater projects, we have got an upgrade of the York Dam water treatment works that I've spoken to. As we speak now, we have spoken to DWS that we have to meet the demands enabled by two. The implementation ready study has been done, waiting approval by DWS, and we think the estimated cost will be 120 million. That will help to upgrade the water treatment plant at Ramalekane by through a package plan, which is going to be a temporary measure, so that pure water can be able to reach quite a number of villages. 5 million for commission of the pipeline to Genfest. I've spoken about it. We've got to move the bulk water supply scheme, which also was supposed to have been completed around 2014. To date, is not completed. There have been litigation issues between the municipality and the professional service provider, which has been resolved. And as we speak now, we've decided to take a phase-in approach, which will mean the first village that we're going to reach, we must be able to reticulate. The bulk infrastructure is being done so far, but commissioning has not been done. Operating a pipeline in the area from Fleck-Wishielo. How that pipeline came about was when the development of mining was taking place in the Eastern Lake, which is the areas of Bakersfield and Steelport. That time for that development to take place, there was need for water, and that water was not there. Then agreement between government and the mines was to upgrade to the dam wall in Fleck-Wishielo, so that they can use that allocation for the development of the mines. Now that the developed dam is there, the discussion with the minister and the Valley Water Association is to look at the possibilities of blended funding or public-private partnerships, which in we believe the Mamburu, Stilford Valley areas, if there's an appetite from the Water Use Association, we could possibly see a blended funding in that area, and therefore could relieve the municipality of the pressures that it has. Olifants, Spur South Water Scheme Phase 6, complete the remaining bulk pipeline phases and unlock new socio-economic development in the area. The estimated cost is 220 million. The Steelport wastewater treatment works. Feasibility study for the development of the regional wastewater treatment works is being done, and in this instance we have appointed DBSA to assist us in this regard. This is in the area in which it is expected that Skukun will have development towards SEZ. And now this kind of infrastructure, bulk infrastructure that is necessary as part of the social, yes.
You've got 5 more minutes.
Okay, as part of rollout process. Then Genfest wastewater treatment, also it will unlock socio-economic development in that area, because the offices of Skukune district that are in Limpopo are supposed to be relocated to Genfest, and therefore when such happens, as part of what plan we believe we need to develop the wastewater treatment works in that area. We've got Robert that local bulk water supply. The business plan is approved, which requires about 1 billion. The municipality does not have this fund to be able to do that. As well as Fleck water supply scheme, which requires 3 billion. These are the financial constraints that we are faced with. Expansion of the existing scheme, oil funds brought. Actually, this is a repetition of what I've said. You can proceed to the next one. The East-West scheme plan, this was spoken about it as, but these are the villages are supposed to be served by the Mutse bulk supply once completed. The next one. Right, this is continuing Mayhook water supply under construction, and these are the villages that are supposed to be served by Mayhook. This pipeline, already there's water running, which is still water, but I might say the challenge here is that quite a number of these villages here already have done illegal connections on this pipeline. But the issue is that the planning also that we need to improve on is that the villages through which these bulk pipelines passes through, we need to plan that immediately there's water available, we must reticulate the household so that we avoid illegal connections, but also be able to raise our revenue base. The next one. Level bulk water supply scheme, these are spoken about. These are the areas that are to be served by that scheme. This is an area where there's a potential for a public-private partnership. The next one. Water, what I've spoken about is these are the details of the schemes that I've spoken about already. The next one. Right, challenges experienced in providing water is unauthorized connections which disrupt services. That's the challenge that we have with the rising main from Fleck to Lofontein. But we hope and believe that with the upgrade, we may be able to address the challenge. But the challenge is that we may have to also put a new pipeline because the existing one through illegal connection is already damaged. Unplanned settlement, vandalism, encroachment of the servitude, and limited funding are the challenges that we are faced with. And declaration of Moses a drought area, we still are waiting the provincial government to do as such after the intervention of the minister. The next one. This is still remedial actions and required interventions, and I've already spoken about it. Registration of projects with the MIG, and Mamburu bulk water supply, I've spoken to it already, which requires more than 162 million, and I'm saying that's where we're looking at the partnership with the Water Association in terms of blended funding. Fleckishore, I've given details about it. We also run a short of funds, but we believe we apply water conservation and demand management with the upgrade to 16 megaliters. There could be an improvement. Villages that are being served rotational once a week. We believe they could be improved to be served maybe twice a week. But that's something we are still going to look at. However, the local have spoken about it. The business plan has been approved, but we don't have funds to be able to run with the project. The next one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to you, Executive Mayor of SAHRC. Thank you also for sticking to time. You were done at exactly 25 minutes. We appreciate that. I'll now hand over to the panel for engagement. I will begin with Dr. Carter, as per usual, and then I will hand over to the provincial manager. Over to you, Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I think let me kick this session off just to mention that from the Human Rights Commission side, the most water-related complaints we receive from any municipality in this province comes from your municipality. The most letters we have written is to your municipality. And unfortunately, the most non-responses we've received is from your municipality. So where we have engaged with your municipality, there may have been initial contact with the Human Rights Commission, but when we have follow-up questions, those follow-up questions are not answered. When we indicate we are not happy with the responses given, the responses are not provided. So there's a clear lack of, it feels, respect for the processes of the Human Rights Commission. We are not the library. We don't provide information. You don't come to us and choose what information you want from us and what we give. We are a constitutional body that requires cooperation, and it doesn't feel like we receive that from the municipality. So it frustrates us, it frustrates our complainants, and we are at a point where we will be starting with the subpoenas. So that is just in terms of an introduction. So we've looked at the presentation that you have provided, and as a baseline, I just want to indicate that 31% of your communities and your households do not have access to piped tap water. Now, one of those communities, which we also visited last week, is Leeuwfontein. And I'm asking a specific response from the municipality. We've seen the master plans and the general plans and the long-term responses. I need the municipality to address Leeuwfontein today, under oath. What specifically is going to be done and what is being done at Leeuwfontein. During our visit, members of the Commission went to several households. There may be JoJo tanks, but the JoJo tanks are not filled by the municipality. The community is made to pay for the water. When they do not have water, they go to their colleague or their neighbors and buy water at 50 Rand a barrel. Then my next question, so Leeuwfontein is a specific concern. And my next question relates to the water tankering. I need to establish from the municipality how many water tankers does the district municipality own? Because we've also received allegations that where there are water tankers that go to community, in some communities, these communities are made to pay for access to the water at those water tankers. So I'd like your response to that as well. my last, Commissioner, my last comment possibly would be that there are allegations that some water tankers also fill from fire hydrants. Now that in itself may compound a hazard that is already in existence, which would mean a lack of water, and then when we go to the fire hydrants and a crisis emerges, then not only will communities not have water from their own resources, the fire hydrants may not have water. So this is important for us because, as I've indicated, we received this copy and paste complaint from several communities in Sekhukhune. We have several open complaints and open files on matters relating to Sekhukhune. And I think in terms of your IDP, you refer on several occasions on the leasing of the water tankers. So you will also just refer me when you cross-reference in terms of the ownership of the water tankers of the municipality. Because a main complaint, and I see this is on your the information that you provide online as well. One of the main complaints against the municipality is that the water tankers would come at irregular times when they do come. But I see the municipality's position is that this is the councillor's responsibility to engage with this community, and the council needs to communicate clearly at what times the water tankers are coming. So it is a clear challenge, it seems like. So I just want the municipality to respond. How are you going to mitigate? Because this is a clear issue from several communities that even when the water tankers come, they may come during working hours where communities are not at home. They may come during odd times at night where women need to leave their children at home alone to go and fetch water, to fill up their drums. So I need you to possibly give us some insight into that and how that can be better addressed. Because I can honestly tell you, in the past 2 days, and with information that we've received from communities, not just in Sekhukhune, it does not necessarily seem like councillors know what the role of the municipality is. They would refer matters to the Human Rights Commission instead of escalating it internally within a municipality. So the engagement with councillors, whether it's with timing of water tankers, whether it's with information on mandate, that is very important for me, for us also to address. Because it looks like they might.
That's why we can't avoid tankering, because if we don't do tankering, then we are going to be denying people of their right to have access to water. That is the 31%, which is a lot, and I believe most of the complaints would come from this 31% that they have no access to really piped water. There's no infrastructure. But what we are doing currently, we are rolling out bulk infrastructure, and we believe in 2 years' time we'll be able to do household reticulation in those areas, and the situation will be able to improve quite a lot. Thank you very much.
And then, do you want to add something? Sure.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just wanted to also respond to the allegation that community members are paying for water that is supplied through water tankering, to indicate that from our side as a municipality, this water is supplied currently free of charge. So we would investigate the issue, but we would also appreciate information from the Commission in terms of in which areas this is taking place, so that we deal with the issue. And then in terms of the fire hydrants, I think the executive mayor has already indicated in terms of the business people that are using them. But what we have been, we are working on is that we would be implementing a system to try and secure them so that they're not accessible to people outside of our fire officials. and we'll see how that works. But also, we're also piloting a system to monitor remotely our infrastructure, especially infrastructure that is in remote areas, because we cannot put physical security to guard or to safeguard each and every piece of infrastructure that we have. And then we will see how that goes, and based on the results we get, then we will work on a program to see how best to roll that out. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Over to you, Provincial Manager.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe just to, I just want to get your feelings. Or how do you feel when there's a court order that's compelling you to do what you're supposed to do? I mean, it's to do, you are being compelled by a court order to do what you are being paid to do from the public coffers. I just want to get your feelings about that. Maybe to go to the other question. Another question is, Executive Mayor indicated that villages, some of the villages are receiving water once a week, others twice a week. I'm not sure whether people are being supplied by sufficient storage, because if you are receiving water once a week, if you don't have proper storage or big containers to keep that water, you are likely to use that water within a day or two. And if you have to wait for another week, then obviously you will be suffering. Then I think that is also reflected by the complaints that we receive from your district. And then we go to the community of Monte. I think the tanks, Giorgio tanks that you referred to, I think I received some photos that show that most of them were empty and they are being vandalized because they were always empty. Or somebody from the community sent me a picture, I think it was yesterday. So, but I don't want to dwell much on the picture because I don't know where that person is coming from. We normally, after receiving the picture, we visit the place first, because somebody can shoot a picture from somewhere and just say, this is from this particular community, but I'm just alerting you of that. So the most important, the point is that maybe you should check whether those tanks are still there or not. But I just want to ask this question. You show a shortfall in terms of budget, the budget constraint, to finish up some of the project. From where I'm sitting, no one's Kukuni very well. I think you have too many mines in that area. And I don't know what our people are benefiting out of these mines. We have intervened in many crises in Skokone, where our people get abused by the mine. Some of them protest for water, but you find that pipelines are passing their villages to the mine, supplying water. From the money that you are saying, you are having this budget shortfall. Is there anything that did you try to approach the mines? Because what we have noticed, I think I read this before when I was visiting the municipality. I think it might be some 2 years back. I was talking about the roads infrastructure. That are damaging. I don't know what's the role of the mine, but they are damaging our roads there. And these trucks are traveling all. We have this thin road that is even risking the lives of our people. And the mine is making a lot of money out of that area. I think that is the challenge that we might be facing, that our municipalities or our government prioritize the needs of these mines over the needs of our people. Yes, we respect the mines that they are creating jobs. We don't have any problem with that. But what is the ordinary people will be benefiting out of those minerals that we have? Sekhukhune is I think is one of the richest mineral, the richest municipality in the province in terms of minerals. So there is no justification for people to suffer. It's a matter of how do we approach these mines to invest to the communities, because day in and day out, our people are blocking roads. We are aware of that. For water, these mines are contaminating the underground water. Our people cannot even drill boreholes. But we have the municipality that was supposed also to stand up and protect the rights of this world. We can join hands to protect the rights of our people. With this shortfall, to me, is something that maybe you should indicate to us if you have attempted to approach mines that are taking all the minerals from your district. So maybe you can just respond to that. But I can also, I think most of the municipality ML here and mayors, they have blamed the illegal connection. But none of you have pointed out what we have done, whether there is any person who has been arrested for illegal connection. Because water cannot be connected through Bluetooth. There must be a pipe from this household to another, from this main pipeline to a house or another structure, or to another, it can be a farm or whatever. If we are saying that there are illegal connections, have you reported that to the police? Because it's illegal to connect water without being authorized by the municipality. So I just want to find out from yourself whether you have any case that has been opened against any person who has done that, or it's just a matter of finding the best way out of shortage of water. So, but can you indicate to us whether there is any case pending? You have identified people who have connected water illegally? Because we have not asked this question to anyone, but water cannot be connected remotely. There should be a pipe from the main line to a certain structure where it's supplying water. So please, can you just share with us?
Thank you. The difficult one is the last one, the mines. We have approached them. And in terms of the mining charter, and they know that in terms of the SLPs, they need to be approved by the municipalities. But the challenge that we have is that they even get approved at the Department of Minerals and Energy without consulting the municipality. So then it becomes a difficult matter at the level of a municipality to deal with the matter. Because it's through the SLPs that they should be able to budget for the communities. And I agree with you that we should be able to be assisted, especially in the Eastern League, that is the areas of Fetahomutuwa as a local municipality. Maybe a general problem that we might need to deal with is the trust deficit between the mines and government. And I think the mines are leveraging on that to their advantage, so that they are able to come through the party in the sense that they don't trust government. But our approach as a district municipality in this instance is that should they refund, we don't want them to transfer the money to the municipality. Themselves should procure service providers, engineers, up to a contractor, and we do not want them to transfer the money to our accounts. But currently, you know, the steel bridge. The steel bridge, we have negotiated with the mines. They've come on board. They have various mines are contributing about 70 million for the construction of the new bridge. We have approached them about the 460 million required for the steel port valley villages, Mankuri and those other villages that are closer to the developed them. They're making smaller commitments that are quite far from reaching that. Their approach is they want their smaller projects in the communities that do not have that impact that, for instance, from the political point of view, we are more concerned how impactful are their projects in the community. We are not satisfied with that, but we believe joining forces with them, with the new approach by the Minister of a Triple P partnerships, maybe they will come to the party.
We took very seriously, and hence we are working very hard to make sure that communities get water. In terms of, I think in terms of the mines, the existing mines already indicated. There are some mines that are assisting in terms of drilling on some boreholes. But I think, as you have indicated, with the kind of money that mines are making, they can actually do more to assist government and the municipality to make sure that the communities within the district have access to water. Now, through our political leaders, there is engagement at the provincial level to raise the concern that social labor plans cannot be approved by the Department of Mineral Resources without municipalities. Because we cannot have a situation where things are done for us, whereas we are the ones who are responsible for making sure or taking care of the needs of our communities. So we are engaging with Department of Minerals Resources and through the Premier's office as well, just to make sure that that issue is really attended to. And I think through the district development model, we are also working towards making sure that the private sector also comes on board, because they are operating in an area where communities reside. And one of the issues, I think, relates to the illegal connections as well. Part of what is causing illegal connections, amongst other things, is that you have your pipelines that are moving through communities to supply water to mines. Now, communities then end up connecting illegally to those lines. And we are now engaging the mines, and I think the executive mayor mentioned it. One of them is your Water Users Association, which is made up of mines, amongst others, to say when such bulk mines are constructed, they should be able to also connect to communities along where those pipelines pass through. Then in terms of the issue of these illegal connections, in some instances, some, like the one in Bloemfontein, for example, or along the line towards the Limpopo Dam, those are basically communities that are illegally, in the real sense, connected to the pipelines line, which then deprives other communities of getting water because it affects the pressure. And we have reported them to the state security in terms of the police, but no one has been arrested since. But also there seems to be a reluctance from the police. So what we do sometimes is we would engage the police so that we then go to some of these areas to try and disconnect these illegal connections. But the communities then become very violent in terms of that, which poses another challenge. So we have to look at some other strategy to say that how best do we deal with the issue of illegal connections under the circumstances.
Ms. Maridula, can I? Thank you, ma'am. I just want to maybe pose another question to you in terms of a lot of issues that you're indicating is that funds, you're waiting for the funds from these entities, especially in your IDP, you make reference to the water services infrastructure grant. Now, in terms of your IDP, when you refer to the WSIG and you refer to the budget allocated for, let's say, a feasibility report, that does not necessarily mean that Water Affairs has already provided you with that funding, is that? So you still need to apply for the funding, and the funding can be rejected as well. But you put this in the projection in terms of your IDP, but it can still be rejected. Now, my concern with this is that last year, Parliament actually issued a statement of discontent against municipalities in Limpopo, which your municipality was one of them, to say that, I just want to read the quote to you because I see WSIG, we've seen WSIG on your presentations here. I just want to read it to you. It is unacceptable that monitoring of municipalities is not done to ensure that allocated resources are used for the benefit of communities, especially in the context of lack of water to many communities in the province and the continuing pollution of rivers by dysfunctional wastewater management work. It is also undesirable that unspent money is returned to National Treasury. The committee was informed that municipalities in Limpopo have so far only spent 65% of the budgeted 500 million intended to improve water infrastructure in the province. And this is where I want you to hear. Of major concern is that Mupani, Vembe, Lepalale and Sekokune district municipalities have not spent any of the WSIG grant transferred to them. Cumulatively, this amounts to 200 million of unspent grant money. But most of your projections and most of your projects here, as well as your presentation, you refer to the WSIG. But you did not use any of these amounts last year. And then the mayor has made reference to a lot of, we hope to, we intend to, we will be. So those are wishes that we are throwing in the air. Even with the WSIG projections here, it's subject to the approval of the department, surely. So I'm not seeing any concrete effort, even if Parliament felt the need to issue a statement against these practices, that last year these monies were returned, but we are asking for more money. And we understand the WSIG process is not that simple. We understand the business plans, we understand that it needs approval, we understand the processes. But at the end of the day, if the communities in Leeuwfontein, the communities in Janeford don't have money, don't have water, and Sekokune is returning money due to it not being spent by from the WSIG, then I think there is a bigger problem as well. So maybe you can just give a bit of clarity on that.
I think let me just also make this follow up. I'm also concerned that you are talking about illegal connections. I thought maybe you were referring to big businesses, and you are saying it's because the pipe passed through the villages to the mine, and as a result, people are connecting through that pipe to that pipe. And that is illegal. But do you find, is it moral correct for a pipe to pass a dry village straight to the mine, leaving people without water from your view as the municipality, is that moral correct? That our people should be suffering without water and the pipe will just pass through their villages? Sometimes you even, when they connect to that, when they get water from that pipe, we say this is illegal, and we even run to the police. Maybe some looked at it and said, morally, they can't just arrest these people. As simple as that, you can't arrest them. Because what you are doing, all this agreement that we are entering into with the mine, compromise the same people that who are supposed to get services. So I think you have to look at it from a different perspective, because you can't keep on criminalizing our people when you are failing to provide the same service that they are entitled to in terms of the constitution. So with regard to another issue that I want to raise with you, the people of Sekhukhune district, sometimes I feel like they are on their own. I feel like there's no government to protect them. And that is the place where we have where most of the protests in the province is Sekhukhune. We hardly have a month, or we hardly have a situation where we spend a week without a protest. Even now, just around last week, there was a protest regarding the houses that are cracking because of the mine. It's just unfortunately, that some of those protests are caused by the mining activities. But where do we stand as the municipality when there's a protest against the mine? Where do you stand? Just say, Aikijan, fight each other until we see who's the survival of the fittest. As the government, we don't get involved. Let the people fight with the mine, have mine using all the resources maybe to
office in their own areas. So therefore that tells you that people of Sekhukhune, okay, if I have to take in terms of from the previous regime, all the former homelands, they've got industrial hubs. Sekhukhune has got nothing. What is supposed to happen in Sekhukhune is in Wako, if not the industries in Wako. Now, the people of Sekhukhune have been affected politically for too long. That's why you see them now behaving in the manner in which they are behaving. And I accept politically we really need to push enough to make sure that we bring their minds on board. And as far as our SIG is concerned, I must concede that we haven't performed well here, and for me it's a matter of maladministration and malfeasance that results in us not spending this grant, because this grant main purpose or objective is an intervention grant where we're able to intervene where there's a crisis. We can go drill a borehole here, do some smaller interventions in that area. We really need to improve in that regard. And that relates to the previous question where Dr. Carter has said in terms of we do respond to your questions, but when you make follow-ups, nothing happens. And that which might result in us being subpoenaed. And from the executive authority point of view, I must also be able to say that indicates to me as a politician and as executive mayor that we really need to improve the oversight. And for us to improve the oversight is to really come with a monitoring and evaluation strategy that will make sure that we don't see things falling within the cracks and wait for the time when the commission would want to subpoena us. And that, I think, will make us have a handle over the matter. The mining issue, provincial manager, is a thorny issue in Sekhukhune, because we are saying Sekhukhune is rich but poor. If you are in that area of the eastern limb, on the other side is mines, on the other side is villages. The other side is green, the other side is dry. If there's a typical example of an area in the country where you're still facing a lot of the terrible challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, you see it practical in that area. it requires a political effort and a combined effort from all of us so that we can be able to change, have a mind shift in terms of the mining, approaching issues, working together with the communities. And people of Skokune are always saying, we've got Royal Bafokeng that is so developed. Why is it that it's so difficult for the mines in Skokune to develop Skokune the same way as they have developed Royal Bafokeng? And as we speak now, the richest platinum and chrome deposits in the country are in Skokune and Magalagwe. And therefore, if we are to talk of a possible new platinum city, should be in Skokune, but through collaboration and joint efforts, I believe that can also be achieved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Executive Mayor and Municipal Manager. We are now approaching the end of your time with us. Mr. Mayor, you referred to, when you spoke of groundwater supply in your presentation, you referred to the 2014-2015 Water Master Plan. We are now approaching 2022, and you confidently spoke to figures with reference to this master plan. A child that was in school in 2015 is now married with children. We can't possibly be expected to rely on figures from 2014-2015. How do you explain that? But most then importantly, how then do we trust the integrity of your overall report? That's one. Two, Dr. Carter mentioned money is not spent from the WSIG, but there are also monies not spent from the MIG. I've just seen a report that there's a 29 million a report from August, that there's an alleged 29 million that is also likely going to be returned to Treasury that had been granted to you for the purpose of addressing COVID-19 related challenges as well as water related challenges. It then makes no sense that you are saying some of the challenges that you have are related to lack of funds, when you do have funds but you are not using them. Please speak to that. Following that, the municipal manager said she doesn't know anything about the sale of water in the jurisdiction. We heard from various members of various district villages within your district who told similar stories about how they have to buy water. Many of them are dependent on social grants, particularly child support grants. Yes, they have to use, and the child support grant is just under 500 rand. Yet they are having to use plus minus 400 rand on water. That is on its own insufficient. Now, the leader of this district says she doesn't know anything about this. I'd like you to please confirm once again whether you know about this or not. It's devastating to hear that you don't know about this. Now, we also heard from other members or residents within your district of such issues as water being drawn from fire hydrants. Please confirm if you have any knowledge of this, and if so, if you've done anything about it. This is not confirmed, but we also received reports that plus minus 11 million, for example, is spent on contractors to do your annual reports. Now, could you confirm to us whether your annual reports are done within your office, or if you procure external service providers to draft your annual reports for you? The issue of mining has been well ventilated, and one would not want to further go into this. However, I would like you to speak to three main issues. The one issue, it has been well researched across South Africa that part of the reason that we have such a problematic relationship between communities and mining companies is because of corrupt relations between, in the main, government officials, which would be in municipal offices, traditional leaders, because most mining activity happens in former homelands, and then these mining companies. Now, this is well documented. I would like to find out from both of you, one, if any of you have any personal benefits financially from any of the mining companies within your jurisdiction. In addition to that, do you have any personal knowledge of anyone who works for your municipality who does benefit from mining activities? Secondly, could you inform us what communities benefit from the exploitation of their environment by mining companies? Municipal Mayor, in your response, I heard you beginning to divert responsibility to the Department of Minerals by saying that some of the problems is because approvals are obtained from the department, bypassing your authority as the district, rendering you unable to intervene. Could you then inform us as the Commission what intervention you may want from the Commission to assist?
90% of the MIG. Over the previous years, money, I agree, will be returned to national treasury. While the need is so huge, but disappointing, yes, to the communities, if the municipality is unable to spend the money. And again, I think it's the absence and lack of internal control measures that we are indeed working on now. And that includes the capability of the internal audit in this regard. And as we're speaking, we've advertised a post for what do you call it, chief audit executive. We have not been performing very well in that regard, but we have also solicited the support of Coxter in the province, and they have done an assessment for us, and they have indicated loopholes that we need to improve on, especially in as far as ICT is concerned, and we are implementing the recommendations. We once had a forensic investigation, and that report has been handed over to the accounting officer, blending it with recommendations from Coxstar. We believe we can be able to turn to the next leaf now and be able to serve the people of Sekhukhune better, because I believe we've got the capability to be able to do on that. In as far as Department of Minerals and Energy is concerned, I think what I believe the Commission can help us with is to be able to get the list of the SLPs that are lapsing from all the mines in Sekhukhune and ensure that both the district municipality and the local municipality get engaged in terms of project that needs to go into their social and labor plans going forward. And that will also go a long way towards bridging that gap of trust deficit that exists between government and the mines. But also the mines, I believe to a certain extent, they still apply the divide and rule tactic.
That's true.
And that is the one that is making the communities of Sekhukhune, especially in that mining belt, to be united and be a very strong formidable force that the mines would have no choice but collaborate with and work with and ensure that SLPs are indeed taking into consideration the needs of the communities in that respect. But not only SLPs, including enterprise supply development, because ESIRA is a requirement in terms of the mining charter. And little is really being done to actually empower the people of Sekhukhune, ensuring that the poverty that is there will then be addressed through enterprise supplier development, over and above seeking for employment in the mines. In as far as me knowing any person in the employee of the municipality who is benefiting from the mines, I have no idea. Asking me from my previous experience as a business plan, yes, I did work with the mines from quite many years back. But when I was appointed an executive mayor, then I resigned from my company and my wife took over from that company. It is only to that extent, but since I've been an executive mayor, my company never benefited in the mines. That is in as far as personally, as the executive mayor, benefiting from the mine since occupying the office of the executive mayor in the municipality. The relationship between the communities and the mines, I think I've already alluded to it, that it really can be improved if we can, all of us, be able to manage the divide and rule tactic that is being applied. I know there are initiatives in the province, it's just that maybe they are moving very slow. And it's part of the district development model, but it's also part of the special economic zone, which is supposed to happen in the area of airport. But I also know that from security point of view, there is supposed to be a committee that needs to be established, where the mines will be represented, government will be represented, the provincial, actually all the three spheres of government and the community. That is in the offing. If much effort is put on it, I think that's a mechanism that might be able to bring together the mines government and the community. And this happened, provincial manager, when, remember, there was a time when even the mines were threatening to disinvest in the area because of these road blockages and all those rights and so on. And a suggestion was made that such a committee be established. And I think Anglo-Platinum was even offering offices from which this structure can operate from. Initiatives are there, we just need a push so that they can be implemented faster to be able to deal with the matters. The issue of sale of water, to the extent that I have said, I know there's people who draw water from our hydrants, fire hydrants. There's people who draw water from our gantries, and these people are the ones that sell water to the communities. And we only need to work together with the communities to stop this, because every year the AG, as a finding, is unaccounted for water. And that unaccounted for water, in my assumption, except from the water balance that we might not be getting right, part of this water is the water that's been stored through our fire hydrants, through our water gantries. We just have to find a solution. I agree, in terms of illegal connections, if we are to remove those illegal connections, there must be an alternative to that. You can't cut a legal connection. That we just need to look into the mechanism that we may need to apply, working together with the communities to really improve on this issue of illegal connections. And there is the issue of COVID-19 projects that were worth 29 million. And this was not a new allocation. The directive was we need to reprioritize within the MIG budget for the past financial year, so that we prioritize certain projects that will have an impact as far as water supply is concerned regarding COVID-19, because it required of the water safety authorities to make sure people need to wash their hands. So we had to ring-fence certain projects amounting to about 29 million. It was not new money, it was an allocation that was made. And I agree, unfortunately, because of what had happened, we are able to spend this money on those specific projects. But this money was spent on other projects because it was part of the approved budget for the previous financial year. And that also relates to the money not spent. And I think here we are, from the political point of view, we are indeed disappointing the people of Sekhukhune. If we are being allocated money, but we are unable to spend this money, and yet the communities of Sekhukhune are suffering as far as water services are concerned. And I have said, from the executive authority point of view, it directs to a point that we need to improve on our oversight. And improving on our oversight would mean we need to come with ways and means of developing and monitoring an evaluation system that will be able to make us hold the accounting authority responsible for failure to really spend the money. But that should also go into the performance agreement that the executive mayor should sign with the accounting officer. Subsequently, the accounting officer signing performance agreements with other managers in the municipality, so that people are held responsible for maladministration or malfeasance. Thank you very much.
The provincial manager has a follow-up question, Mr. Mayor. Before I hand over to the provincial manager, I also have a follow-up question. You didn't address the question of the 2014-2015 water master plan. I also just wanted to get an indication or confirmation from you whether your wife, you said that you resigned from the company and then your wife took over. Does your wife's company benefit, or has she benefited since you've been the mayor, from any mining activity? Please speak to that. And then on the issue of the illegal connections with regards to fire hydrants and those who sell water, who get it from your countries, you are saying that we need to work with the communities in stopping this. When did you realize that you need to work with the communities to stop this? One, how long have you known about it? What have you done between the time that you have known about it and the time that you realized that you need to do something about this? And then how does your response, which is knowledge about this, relate to the MM's response, which said she doesn't know anything about this and she's inviting any evidence that might exist? Please speak to those contradictions. And I will allow you to just clarify that so that I don't overload you with questions, and then following that I will give the opportunity to the provincial manager to also follow up.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. I think what the account officer might be referring to is our officials or truck drivers who deliver water to the communities. The allegation that those people are selling water. I think the response to the MM is as far as that matter is concerned. What I'm referring to is people who own their private trucks, who go and use our gantries and use our fire hydrants to draw water and sell to the communities. In as far as my wife is concerned, like I said, when I was in business, I did have business in the mines. But from the time that I became an executive mayor, the company that my wife is a director, in which I was a director, never benefited from the mines. In as far as 2014-2015 is concerned, and that relates to the previous question, Commissioner, that I did not respond to, relates into the credibility of the report that I have presented. I think in as far as 2014-15 is concerned, and I said in terms of source information, I could only attest to the information that comes from Statistics SA and the community survey. But I must say, I think the account officer might need to go and rework in as far as 2014-15 is concerned. But what I know, the water master plan has been reviewed. But apart from the water master plan, the requirement of the water master plan is that annually we need to have a water development plan. Water services development, water services development plan arising or taking cue from the water master plan. The water master plan says for the coming 30 years or so, this is how we are going to roll out the infrastructure in the district. But on annual basis, annually, for that financial year, a water service development plan is necessary for the implementation of the master plan in that current financial year. So the water service demand plan gives expression to the long-term view of the water master plan, which we are currently doing, in as far as that is concerned. But like I've said, what I think needs to be done going forward is that the war room that the executive mayor has established, that has got positive results so far as far as MIG is concerned. We need to include, in terms of the tracking system, all grants that we receive from government, inclusive of the SIG. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Before the provincial manager comes in, you forgot one question. You said that you need to work with communities to address the issue. I asked you when you found out and what you've done between the time you found out and the time you realized you need to do something about it.
Thank you very much. In as far as illegal connections are concerned, we've got bylaws. And I know we've got officials that are responsible for the enforcement of these bylaws. But they can only enforce them to a certain extent, as the MMS alluded to. The extent to which we look or appreciate the cooperation of the police services in us enforcing those bylaws. But in as far as countries are concerned, after discovering this, some of the countries we have closed. They no longer have access to those countries. Some that are remaining, we still have to come with security measures because some of them we cannot lose. It's just to come with security measures that will be able to alert the institution once people are tampering with the countries. Up until we are able to install such security measures, some of these areas, I must accept, we are not going to be able to have a handle over it. And I think that is something that the country officer is looking at, ensuring that we have some device installed on our countries so that they become tamper-proof or must be able to send to the office so that our security should then be able to respond to those things. And I think it's a system, it's a systematic matter that can be dealt with best at the level of the officials. Thank you.
Thanks. I know that you wanted to add something. Can I offer the provincial manager the opportunity to add his follow-up question, and then in response you will begin with what you wanted to add, and then if there's anything else you want to add to his question, thereafter we'll give over to the mayor, who will also then offer the closing remarks.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chair. I'm happy that you also mentioned or comment on the issue of the Royal Bafokeng game, and you also touched the issue of Mokalakwena. I think I must also alert you that we are in the process of having a hearing
of the people of Sukuni. And I have said this is historical, and therefore it's not surprising that people of Sukuni are so underdeveloped, are so poor, yet the region is endowed, enriched with mineral resources that are being exploited by the mines and the why poverty is so high, inequality and unemployment. But in an endeavor to try and address some of these trivial challenges, what I did as an executive mayor coming into office was to come with a program of empowerment. What was happening in the district was that in terms of building of VIP toilets, the service was outsourced even outside the borders of Skukuni. And in my view...
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to pause you here. You are now speaking like a politician. Please speak directly to the question, which is, what do you think Fanon would think and say? That is the only question I asked.
I think Fanon will say a step in the correct direction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you very much to you, Municipal Manager, for your time. It is now 37 minutes after the hour of 7. We thank you for your patience. It's been an incredibly long day. We understand that you must be extremely fatigued, so we do thank you for the time that you've taken to be with us today. Indeed, this is not the end of our engagements. If there are any follow-up questions, we shall send them in writing in the process of developing our report. But even further to that, we are certainly going to engage with you. There are certain commitments that you have made to us, and we will follow up with regards to whether those commitments have been met. And as the provincial manager has said, we are also going to have another hearing that focuses. Here we are focusing on the provision of water and access to water. We would also want to just have a focused look at issues of mining, and certainly the districts being so affected by mining activities. We would want to then start probing those issues that are related to mining. For now, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. We wish you a good evening. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to you, Program Director.
Thank you very much, Mayala and Municipal Manager from the Sekhukhune District Municipality. Thank you, Commissioner. May I kindly lend the mic to Dr. Eileen Carter, our Senior Legal Officer in the office, for overview and wrap-up of the team. Are you doing from there?
Yes, I've got a very long presentation I would like to deliver. I hope everyone is comfortable. No, I think everyone here has been sitting through the whole day. You know exactly what happened. Everything is online if you are unsure. Even the recordings will be made available online. But just to wrap up formally, as is my mandate here, it was a long day of presentations. We started off with complainants, NGOs, civil society, and we ended off with the submissions of 4 water service authorities, and which left us with much to think about and much to